My name is Natalie Pierce. I am 30 years old, and the day my sister called me a beggar, I learned how loud silence can be. It was the Friday before Thanksgiving at Riverside First Bank, lobby full, printers chattering like gossiping birds. I'd come to withdraw $150, cash for Grandma's prescriptions and a new space heater for her drafty apartment. Avery, my younger sister by 2 years and the branch manager by 4 promotions, wore a navy suit with victory built into the lapels. I knew that suit. So did the staff. So did our town. Next, she sang, then saw me and smiled with all her teeth. Oh. It's you. I slid my debit card across politely. 150. Small bills. Avery leaned into the mic so the line could hear. We don't serve beggars here. Laughter. The kind that looks like coins tossed at a street performer. Shiny, careless, aiming for the hat instead of the eyes. A teller coughed into her fist. A man in a reflective vest stared at his shoes. Someone snickered, "Try a soup kitchen, sweetheart." I didn't argue. I didn't explain why I needed the cash or how Avery had started practicing cruelty the year her ambition learned to stand. I just turned my card over and traced the embossed numbers like Braille, memorizing my fury letter by letter. If you're watching this, tell me, did your own family ever make you choose between dignity and help? Drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because what happened after I swallowed that laugh is why you're here. Backstory: fast and honest. Dad Warren, retired paramedic allergic to apologies, believes debt is character building for others. Mom Tessa, church treasurer, smile like tinsel, budgets like fog. Avery, my sister, a brand new branch manager whose favorite hobby is making rules sound like personality. Uncle Drew, plumber with opinions, unpaid invoices and a louder truck than conscience. Grandma May, retired seamstress, the only soft place. She keeps peppermint and difficult truths in the same purse. Avery slid my card back with 2 fingers. Insufficient respect, she said softly, a private whisper meant only for me. I pocketed the card and turned away. The automatic doors inhaled and exhaled. The winter air bit the thin skin inside my nose. I tasted copper. I tasted resolve. Because I didn't come to the bank just as a sister. I came as something my sister forgot I was. I walked to the lobby kiosk, opened the corporate portal on my phone, and entered a test number big enough to wake the building. My name is Natalie Pierce. I am 30 years old, and the day my sister called me a beggar, I learned how loud silence can be. It was the Friday before Thanksgiving at Riverside First Bank, lobby full, printers chattering like gossiping birds. I'd come to withdraw $150, cash for Grandma's prescriptions and a new space heater for her drafty apartment. Avery, my younger sister by 2 years and the branch manager by 4 promotions, wore a navy suit with victory built into the lapels. I knew that suit. So did the staff. So did our town. Next, she sang, then saw me and smiled with all her teeth. Oh. It's you. I slid my debit card across politely. 150. Small bills. Avery leaned into the mic so the line could hear. We don't serve beggars here. Laughter. The kind that looks like coins tossed at a street performer. Shiny, careless, aiming for the hat instead of the eyes. A teller coughed into her fist. A man in a reflective vest stared at his shoes. Someone snickered, "Try a soup kitchen, sweetheart." I didn't argue. I didn't explain why I needed the cash or how Avery had started practicing cruelty the year her ambition learned to stand. I just turned my card over and traced the embossed numbers like Braille, memorizing my fury letter by letter. If you're watching this, tell me, did your own family ever make you choose between dignity and help? Drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because what happened after I swallowed that laugh is why you're here. Backstory: fast and honest. Dad Warren, retired paramedic allergic to apologies, believes debt is character building for others. Mom Tessa, church treasurer, smile like tinsel, budgets like fog. Avery, my sister, a brand new branch manager whose favorite hobby is making rules sound like personality. Uncle Drew, plumber with opinions, unpaid invoices and a louder truck than conscience. Grandma May, retired seamstress, the only soft place. She keeps peppermint and difficult truths in the same purse. Avery slid my card back with 2 fingers. Insufficient respect, she said softly, a private whisper meant only for me. I pocketed the card and turned away. The automatic doors inhaled and exhaled. The winter air bit the thin skin inside my nose. I tasted copper. I tasted resolve. Because I didn't come to the bank just as a sister. I came as something my sister forgot I was. I walked to the lobby kiosk, opened the corporate portal on my phone, and entered a test number big enough to wake the building. Mom didn't work at the bank. She volunteered, fundraisers, holiday drives, and Avery loved the optics of family around success. Mom wore a visitor badge like jewelry. She knew where the coffee pods lived and which door needed a sharp jerk. She did not know what a liquidity drill was, but she knew panic when she smelled it. "Natalie," she said in a voice shaped like scolding and rescue. "What did you do now?" "Nothing you didn't teach me," I said. "I asked for what I needed." An alarm chirped, gentle but relentless. A teller whispered, "We've never had a level 3. Another replied, "Do we call regional?" Avery hissed, "I am regional," though she wasn't. If you're watching, tell me if your family ever picked optics over oxygen. Hit like and subscribe, because this part isn't about money. It's about who gets to hold the microphone when the room gets loud. Mom pressed her palm to my arm. "Apologize to your sister." "For what?" I asked. "For embarrassing her. She called me a beggar." Mom's smile thinned. "You know how she jokes." Behind us, the console pulsed red. ACK pending escalated. My phone buzzed. Corporate risk joined call. The line indicator on the manager's desk lit up like a landing strip. Avery's veneer cracked. She grabbed the handset. "Yes. This is Manager Pierce. We have a non-standard alert." Pause. Like. Swallow. "No, we haven't acknowledged. We were verifying on our end." I looked at Mom. I cued a drill. If she acknowledges, it runs quietly and proves her team is trained. If she doesn't, corporate sees a branch that can't follow protocol. It's that simple. Mom glared. "You set your sister up." "No," I said softly. "I set safety up." She chose the rest. Break time equals 2 /. Backstory feels like cold water. Dad once told me I was too precise for a small town, right before he asked me to float the card, another month. Uncle Drew installed Grandma's water heater when the money comes in, and it never came. Avery took my resume once to pass along, and later told me the city didn't want my type, then posted a selfie from my old interview building with a caption about grind. And Grandma May, who taught me ledger math on a kitchen table while the radio said men's names. The console flashed again. Final ACK 045. 45 seconds to choose competence. Avery met my eyes. For a blink, she was 9 again, holding my hand at the county fair, afraid of the tilt-a-whirl. Then the blink passed. She put the phone to her ear and lied. "Yes, yes, acknowledging now," she said, and didn't press the button. The room heard the silence. The room learned what hesitation cost. Corporate risk spoke through the speakerphone, crisp as winter glass. "Riverside first, we are treating this as unacknowledged. Stand by." And the bank, my sister's stage, went very, very quiet. Silence in a bank isn't absence. It's containment. Printers stopped pretending, cash drawers froze in their rails, and the lobby's aquarium of people pressed their hands against invisible glass. The simulation didn't drain a dollar. It put a mirror in the middle of the room. My phone pinged with internal chatter. Liquidity drill escalated. Confirmed training gaps. My badge status flickered to on-site observer. I stepped back so the security cameras could see my hands. This wasn't a fight. It was a field report with fluorescent lighting. Avery's voice frayed. "Why would you do this here?" "Because you laughed at need," I said. "Because policy should protect the least flashy request." "That's not policy," she snapped. "That's your martyr complex." Mom squeezed between us. "Enough. Natalie, fix it." "I can't," I said. "Only the branch can." Press acknowledge. If you're still here, comment with the moment you realized accountability feels like cruelty to people who never had to learn it. And subscribe, because the next minute changed everything we thought we knew about who held power in a room. The speaker crackled. "Corporate, Riverside, we see persistent non-acknowledgement. We are initiating test containment. You will experience temporary transactional hold across non-critical services. Safe and ATMs remain normal. We repeat, this is a test of your response, not a seizure of funds." The lobby lights dimmed to a softer wattage. A woman at window 3 asked if her check would clear. The teller voice small said, after the hold. The man in the reflective vest whispered, is my paycheck safe? I answered for the room, yes. Avery's chin lifted. Everyone remain calm, she said to customers, then through clenched teeth to me. You enjoy this? No, I said. But I won't be humiliated into forgetting what my job is. Break time equals, 2/. Mom's phone buzzed. Dad, what's going on down there? Uncle Drew, tell Nat to cut it out. Grandma May voicemail sugar, get my heater first. I almost laughed. Even in audit, Grandma kept the list right. The console timed a new tone. Regional director joined. A man's voice, measured, curious, not unkind. Riverside, we see a member of AtlasNet on site. Miss Pierce, is that correct? Avery said nothing. I cleared my throat. Yes. Observing. Drill queued. Authorization reference appended. Thank you, he said. Branch manager, please acknowledge so we can complete test containment and issue your pass. Avery stared at the button like it was a verdict. Pride is a poor firewall. 543 she pressed. The console blushed green. The room exhaled. Riverside acknowledged, corporate said. Completing drill. The printers resumed like they'd only been napping. The tellers took cash like nothing had happened. People forgot the minutes they'd held their breath. Everyone except my sister. She looked at me the way some people look at shark fins. Afraid, then resentful for being afraid. And in that look I saw the next battle coming. Not with the bank but with our house. That night the kitchen table became a court. Dad at the head, the TV baseball muted behind him. Mom slicing pie like diplomacy. Avery across from me, still in her suit, the word beggar floating between us like secondhand smoke. Dad slapped a palm on the table. You made your sister look incompetent. I made the branch pass a drill, I said. That's my job. Your job is family, Mom snapped, cheeks flushed. What you did today was petty. If you're watching, tell me if you've ever discovered the family economy. The kind paid not with dollars but with silence. Like and subscribe if you've ever stopped paying. I opened my tote and slid out a thin folder, not the bank's. Ours. Utility bills I'd covered when Dad's hours got cut. Church fundraiser loans Mom promised to square, that never squared. The $900 Uncle Drew said he'd send as soon as the Johnson job clears. A job that must live on the horizon with all the other suns that never rise. Avery smirked. Oh good, more receipts. Not more, I said. Enough. Grandma May cleared her throat from the doorway, leaning on her cane like truth. Leave her be, she said. That girl's ledger kept this house warm. Mom's mouth trembled. Mother. Don't mother me, Tessa, Grandma said. You taught both girls how to be useful. Only one of them learned how to be kind. Break time equals, 2/. Avery flicked her gaze to me. You humiliated me, she whispered, not a manager now. Why are you still punishing me? I asked for $150, I said. You called me a beggar. She flinched. It was a joke. It was a belief, I said. Dad pushed away from the table. Enough. Natalie, you will go to the branch tomorrow and apologize. I will not, I said calmly. I will, however, get Grandma's heater. Grandma smiled like dawn. You always were the useful one. Mom folded the pie back into the pan. You want to count? She said, brittle. Fine. Count. But count it all. I did, I said, and slid one last sheet across. A simple set of boundaries typed in 12-point font. No more shared cards. No more temporary loans. No more jokes that introduce me as an invoice. Avery's jaw worked. Dad grunted. Mom stared at the list like it was a language she used to speak. The back door squealed. Uncle Drew stomped in, bringing December with him. What's this audit nonsense? He barked. Make it right, Nat. Pay your bill, I said. The room blinked. And then my phone lit the tabletop with a blue square. AtlasNet. Region review, branch conduct inquiry opened. The bank wasn't done with us. The inquiry wasn't punishment. It was process. Region wanted to know why a level 3 waited 5 minutes at a branch that trained quarterly. I didn't file the concern, AtlasNet did. My name appeared as on-site, not complainant. That mattered and didn't. Avery's texts arrived before sunrise. You did this. Undo it. Then they're calling my team in for retraining. Then, If I lose this branch, you lose your family. I brewed coffee in the dark, counting out loud. 1 for Grandma, 1 for the heater, 1 for me. The counting steadied my breath. I typed, "You can fix it. Press acknowledge faster next time. And apologize." To me. To the lobby. If you're still here, comment if you've ever learned that the apology you want from your family is the one they think is beneath them. Subscribe, because the only way through this was forward. Grandma called at 6. "The pharmacy opens at 9, she said. "We'll get there when we get there." We did. I paid cash. The heater fit like a small furnace in my trunk, humming with the confidence of the uncomplicated. At noon, Region dialed me in as observer. We ran the drill again in shadow. The branch acknowledged in 10 seconds. The printer never blinked. The lobby never knew. At 4, Region emailed. Pass. Attached. A commendation for on-site professional support, and a recommendation that Riverside partner with AtlasNet on community training, financial safety for families. Sometimes the universe writes the irony for you. I forwarded the invite to Avery. "You should lead this," I typed. "Bring Mom. Bring the church ladies. Teach them how systems protect people when people won't." No reply. Break time equals 2/. That night, Dad texted one line. "You made your point." I typed back, "I made a boundary." He sent nothing else. I drove to Grandma's with the heater. We set it by her favorite chair, next to her Bible and her peppermint tin. "There," I said, flipping the switch. The coil glowed like a small sunrise. Grandma patted my hand. "The Lord counts widows' mites," she whispered. "He'll count your minutes too." We ate soup. We watched a game show. We didn't mention the bank. When I left, the cold air felt less like a verdict. My phone buzzed as I pulled into my apartment lot. "Avery." I braced, then stared. It wasn't rage. It was a picture. Of a printed sign on the bank counter. "We serve people here. Withdrawals of $150 and apologies, cash and sincere, are welcome." Under it, a sticky note. "I'm sorry. A." I closed my eyes. Relief doesn't always feel like victory. Sometimes it feels like air you forgot you knew how to breathe. The community session filled faster than anyone expected. Church ushers, grocery clerks on split shifts, nurses in scrubs, teenagers who'd never touched a paper check. People. Avery stood at the front in her navy suit, but her lapels weren't gloating. They were working. She clicked through slides I'd helped write. How to spot a scam. How to ask questions without shame. How to say, "I don't understand," and get an answer that respects the sentence. She didn't look at me. He didn't have to. Mom passed out coffee like penance. Dad checked the door whenever the winter wind bullied it. Uncle Drew sat with his hat in his hands and asked about payment plans. I watched Avery chew the edge of her lip the way she did when she wanted to get it right. If you're watching, tell me in the comments if you've ever seen someone you love discover a better version of themselves in public. Hit like and subscribe, because the last part of this story isn't revenge. It's math and mercy. When the Q&A ended, a kid in a red hoodie raised his hand. "What if the teller laughs?" he asked. The room shifted. Avery swallowed. "Then you ask for me," she said. "Or you file a note in the box by the door. Or," she glanced at me, "you tell my sister. She knows how to make the room listen." Afterward, Mom brought me a foam cup. "You did good," she said, eyes wet. "You too," I said. She nearly smiled. "I was wrong." "Yes," I said gently. "And you're here." Avery finally came over. Her voice was small. "I said it because I was scared," she whispered. "Scared you'd always be better at the things that matter. The number you queued, what if it had?" "It didn't," I said. "And now you know how to make sure it never does." She nodded. "I meant the sign." "I know," I said. "I saw. Break time equals 2/. She reached into her bag and pulled out $150 in small bills. "For Grandma," she said. "From me." I took it and folded it small. "For the heater fund," I said, tucking it into my coat. "For the next winter." We walked out together into the early dark. The bank looked smaller from the sidewalk, like all buildings do when you stop letting them tell you who you are. My phone pinged one last time. AtlasNet, case closed. Status, pass. Avery held the door for a woman with a stroller. "We serve people here," she said, and for the first time I believed her. And then, under the streetlight, she asked me a question I'd been waiting decades to hear. "Where do we start?" Avery asked. "Start small," I said. "With the count that matters." So we made a list on the hood of my car, breath ghosting in the cold. 1. Grandma's prescriptions on autopay with Avery's card. 2. A permanent no mockery rule in the house, starting with the jokes that pretend to be love. 3. A community fund, $50 a month from each of us for emergencies that deserve the word. 4. Training reruns every quarter where the slides include the line "We serve people here" on the very first page. Mom and Dad came outside, huddled close. Uncle Drew shuffled, scuffing the curb, then handed Avery a thick envelope. "For May's heater," he muttered. "Plus what I owe." He didn't meet my eyes, but the math did. If you're still watching, this is your invitation. Have you faced betrayal and turned it into a boundary that blesses other people? Tell me below. And don't forget to subscribe. These stories are scaffolding for anyone building a safer room. We drove to Grandma's together. The heater hummed. We ate pie cold, standing up, laughing at nothing heavy. Grandma patted the sofa beside her and took Avery's hand. "Managers manage," she said. "Good ones fix what they break." On the way out, Avery stopped at the drugstore and bought a roll of bright stickers. In the bank lobby the next morning, she stuck one above the "We serve people here" sign. It read, "Yes, even $150. I walked past the kiosk where I'd cued a number bigger than my hometown's imagination and thought of all the numbers that mattered more. 150, 2 bottles of pills, 1 space heater for people learning. I didn't need the room to apologize anymore. I was busy working. On my channel I posted this story. The humiliation, the drill, the door that opened after the room went quiet. I ended it exactly where it began, with a request. "Help the person who comes in after me," I said. "The one who needs small bills and doesn't owe you a performance." I looked into the lens and let the last words be simple. We serve dignity, not numbers.